A Lansing family is going through a devastating loss after a deadly house fire. It is our top story tonight at 6. Thank you for joining us. I'm Sherry Jones. Lauren Thompson is off tonight. 3 people are dead, including 2 children, following an overnight house fire. The Lansing Fire Marshal and the Lansing Police are now investigating how this fire started. It happened in the 1400 block of Elizabeth Street, just north of I-496. And that's where we find our KIYERRA Lake. KIYERRA, this is so sad. Tell us what you've learned.
Sherry, this is the home here behind me, and there was a lot of damage done by this fire, but it was once filled with joy, and I was able to talk to the family this morning about their loved ones.
I was in disbelief. I was in shock. I said, this can't be happening. And so I came here, and then I seen it and talked to the fire marshals and the police officer and the medical examiner. Then it became real.
Maria Perez is now mourning the loss of her mother and 2 nephews. They were only 4 and 8 years old.
I just remember us just being here and, you know, my kids playing with their cousins and we're just hanging out and laughing.
Maria's mother was 53, and this morning the family came out to see what was left and to be together.
We just remember that and we take that with us, and that's what we remember. Her sayings, their sayings, them playing and being kids. So that's what we remember.
Even though Maria is still in shock that this happened, she's not surprised by what her mother did in her final moments.
She got them into the bathtub and turned the water on and held them. And she was trying to keep the fire away from them. So that's what she did. She was trying to save them because they couldn't get out the door.
Maria says she always made sure her grandkids were taken care of.
Yeah, she always had them, so it's really so sad and so surreal that all this is happening. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, so.
Maria says they're now working on funeral arrangements, but since this all happened so suddenly, they don't have anything planned, so now they're just working to get things together. Here for you in Lansing, KIYERRA Lake, 6 News.
A break in a case involving the tragic death of a grandmother and her 2 grandchildren in a house fire. It's our top story at 6. Thanks for joining us. I'm Lauren Thompson.
And I'm Sherry Jones. Lansing police say a 21-year-old woman is now in custody. She has been arrested and charged in connection to this deadly fire that happened earlier this month.
KIYERRA Lake has been following this case. KIYERRA, what do we know tonight?
Sherry and Lauren, so this is 21-year-old Abiana Williams, and she now faces 3 counts of murder and 3 counts of first-degree arson. The fire happened on September 3rd at a home on Elizabeth Street, and police say at first this fire appeared to be an accident, but soon after they were starting to get anonymous tips and neighbors came forward with new information. Eventually they determined it was an arson, and police say Williams was on the run, but they caught her yesterday. The victims in this case are 53-year-old Melissa Weston and her 2 grandsons, 8-year-old Aston Griffin and 4-year-old Jesse Klein IV. All 3 of them were laid to rest just this Monday, and I did get a chance to speak to the grieving family members the day after the fire, and one person I spoke to then felt that this was not an accident. We will be following this case and bring you the latest information that we get on 6 News and WLNS.com. Lauren, Sherry, back to you.
A Lansing woman accused of starting a deadly house fire. Tonight, we're learning more about how police were able to arrest her. It is our top story tonight at 6. Thank you for joining us. I'm Sherry Jones.
And I'm Lauren Thompson. Tonight, KIYERRA Lake has court documents related to 21-year-old Abiana Williams. Police say Williams set fire to the home on Elizabeth Street while a grandmother and her 2 grandsons were trapped and killed inside.
Police say Williams sent disturbing text messages minutes before that deadly fire. We're going to head over to KIYERRA right now. She's in our studio with all the details.
Lauren and Sherry, before I go any further, I want to give a warning to our viewers at home that these text messages are disturbing. And according to this affidavit, Williams was dating the victim's son. And police say on the night of the fatal fire, Williams sent a text message to her boyfriend that read, "I hope your mom likes being burned alive and I'm outside your mom's house." The affidavit states Williams was interviewed by Lansing police last Friday about these texts. And officers say she did admit to sending them, but denied setting the home on fire and said she was never at the house on Elizabeth. But a friend of Williams was also interviewed by police, and according to court records, that friend says he dropped Williams off at the victim's home the night of the fire, but the friend says Williams told him it was her cousin's house. Police say the friend left before any crimes were committed, and investigators say they were able to get surveillance video, and that shows a woman walking near the house just before the fire was started. Williams is now facing 3 counts of open murder, and she's expected to be in court next week. Lauren and Sharon, back to you.
Tough story. Thank you, KIYERRA. Well,
I always told him to leave her. I never thought she was coming after my mom.
tonight we have exclusive new video, and we're learning more about the woman Lansing police say is responsible for killing a grandmother and her 2 grandchildren. It is our top story tonight at 6. Thank you for joining us. I'm Sherry Jones.
And I'm Lauren Thompson. 21-year-old Abiana Williams is in custody, charged with 3 counts of murder and arson. Lansing police say she set a house on fire on Elizabeth Street earlier this month. A woman and her 2 young grandchildren were trapped inside while that home burned.
We do want to warn you that the video you're about to see that was shared with 6 News by Mike Collier, who is the son and uncle of the victims, is graphic and disturbing.
Our KIARA Lake spoke with Collier earlier today. She's here for you now, as he says he's in shock from what happened to his mother and 2 nephews.
She's always done that. Like, she's always threatened my family all the time about doing that.
But Collier says he never thought Abiana Williams would act on her threats and be this violent.
Not even a little bit.
Until September 3rd, the night of the fire. And now he says his family is devastated.
She was a whole different character as a grandmother. It made her, like, better. Like, I loved it. Why did you do that? What made you go take 3 innocent lives?
But along with telling us about the threats made by Williams, Collier showed us a video. He says it shows Williams getting violent with his brother earlier this year, and that this happened after Williams assumed his brother was cheating on her.
Well, right here, they're just arguing, and she has a knife in her hand, down by her side. And she raises it like this. My brother grabbed her by her underarm and slams her and takes the knife, as you can see him pull it from her hand.
And he says this wasn't the first time something like this has happened.
She's busted out windows that I'd had to repair for them just because it's my brother.
And Collier says he knew Williams was responsible for the house fire. The night the fire happened, he says he saw the messages Williams sent to his brother about burning his mother alive. Collier says the threats made this time were because Williams again thought his brother was cheating.
I feel better knowing that there's actual justice being served for that, because in the beginning it was just going to be considered an accidental fire. And I'm glad everything worked out the way it did for my mom and my nephews.
In Lansing, KIARA Lake, 6 News.
Collier says he will always remember how loving his mother was, and that the boys were also loving, smart, and funny. We did reach out to the mother of Abiana Williams to talk with her about her daughter, but she did not get back to us before this story aired. Tonight, the parents of the woman in jail accused of setting a fire that killed 3 people say she's innocent and that there's more to the story. And that is our top story tonight at 6. I'm Sherry Jones.
And I'm Lauren Thompson. Right now, 21-year-old Abiana Williams is in jail after police and prosecutors say she killed 2 children and their grandmother after starting a house on fire.
But Williams' mothers say their daughter is autistic and that she suffers from multiple emotional disorders and is not capable of committing such a crime.
KIARA Hay is here for you now live in our studio. KIARA, why is the family speaking out now?
Well, they reached out to 6 News on Monday after we aired a story where the victim's son describes Abiana as violent, and we even showed a video of her threatening someone with what appeared to be a knife. But today, her mom say there's more to that video and to that story. But I must warn you, the video can be hard to watch. This is the video we showed on Monday of Abiana Williams holding what a witness says was a knife. But Williams' mother says
that is not a knife in her hand.
Instead, Adrika Blackman says it's a large can of mace she gave her daughter for protection because she claims her daughter wasn't the violent one, but a victim of abuse. And that's not the only thing Blackman says people have wrong about her firstborn.
She's not the type of person that could ever do this, ever.
Abiana is accused of intentionally setting a house on fire knowing someone was inside. Initially, the fire on Elizabeth Street that claimed the lives of 3 people was deemed accidental, until police recovered messages allegedly from Abiana saying, "I hope your mom likes to be burned alive," and video and testimony placing Williams at the home on that day. But Blackman says there's no proof her daughter is the one who sent the message and believes she's innocent.
Do you believe that she set that fire?
And so does McKinley, the boyfriend who lost his mother and nephews in the fire.
I feel for those children that lost their life. I feel for Melissa deeply. But at the end of the day, I am her mother, and I know she didn't do it.
Now, Abiana Williams is currently in jail facing 3 counts of murder and 3 counts of first-degree arson. She's due back in court tomorrow.